Welcome, my dear students, and good evening. Here we are going to discuss about the 2025, the last year Northwestern Province paper. This is for grade 10 second term students, those who are going to face the second term papers the following weeks. Before going into the questions, I'd like to inform you you have to cover more than 13 units. Some schools they have to cover the 14 units. Some school they may cover up to 13 units only. So you don't want to worry about the units and the lessons before going into this paper. I'm going to discuss all the knowledge and all the revisions behind each and every question. So you don't want to worry about whether you have studied the lessons or not. I will support you to make sure the units to uh, get to understand the units and the answers. Okay. So the first question, if you take the first question, see question number one. Not a basic organic compound in the living matter. It is a unit number one. It is from unit number one. If we take the question, it says it's the answers. There are four answers. You have to select the answer which is not a basic organic compound. Not a basic organic compound. You know, uh, there are four main organic compounds which are useful for our life. Very basic for organic compound. They are carbohydrates, protein, lipid, and nucleic acid. So these four are the basic organic compounds. So vitamins are not the basic one, but they also an important one for the living body, but they are not the basic one. If you take the basic one, there are four things: uh, carbohydrate, lipids, protein, and nucleic acid. So the answer vitamin is the it's not a basic organic compound. So that's the answer for the first question. If you take the second one, a type of subatomic particle that contributes a chemical reaction. This type of subatomic particle. If you take the subatomic particle, if you take the subatomic particle, if you take the subatomic particle, we have protons, electrons, and neutrons. See, the protons and the neutrons are always located in the nucleus. Always located at the nucleus. So, protons and neutrons. But the electrons are located in the energy levels. So, if we take the structure, if we take the structure of an atom, in the center, the core part is the nucleus. So the core part is always the nucleus. We have protons and neutrons in that nucleus. So, and we have the energy levels. We have the energy levels. At the energy levels, we have electrons. At the energy levels, we have electrons. These electrons will participate. These electrons will participate in the chemical reactions. These electrons will participate in the chemical reactions. So only the electrons, no protons and no neutrons, they don't participate because they are located in the nucleus. So the only particle is contributing to the chemical reaction is electrons. Okay. Even it's an anionic bond or the covalent bond, the electrons are the participant of the chemical reaction. So the answer is electrons. So answer is electrons. Question number 3 is from unit number 13. Three domain system classification was introduced by by Carl Woese. Yes, Carl Woese. If you go back to the units, see here three domain system of classification. See here, see the if you take the natural classification, was introduced by the famous scientist See here. Yes. If you take the natural classification, it is introduced by the famous scientist Carlos Linnaeus. So Carlos Linnaeus is the one who introduced the natural classification, and you see the five kingdom classification system. It is introduced by the Robert Whittaker. Then Robert Whittaker is the uh, scientist who introduced the five kingdom classification, and Carl Woos in 1990 he introduced the three domain classifications: domain archaea, domain bacteria, and domain eukarya. He introduced these three kind of domains. So the domain classification, the three domain system of classification, was introduced by Carl Woos. That is the answer. Okay. Fourth one, question number 4. Question number 4. The length of a path between 2 points traveled by a moving object is called the length of that path. See here. Here they are mentioning only the length of the path between the 2 points traveled by the moving object. See here. The length mean we can take these two answers here, distance and displacement. If you take distance mean that is the length of the path between the 2 points. If we say A and the B, if you take the point A and point B, the length of the path between A and B is called the distance. The distance between A and B means the length between A and B. See here, I have mentioned here three parts. See here, I see 1, 2, and 3. There are three parts here. Three paths I have mentioned here for A and B. But if I take the second path, if I take the second path, number 2, it is a straight line. It is a straight line. It's a straight path. So it has a particular direction. It has a distinct direction, and also it is a straight path and the shortest path. See here, I have mentioned some key points about the second path. See here, the shortest one, the straight one with the distinct direction. So if you get these kind of keywords, definitely the second path is a displacement. But here in this question they have mentioned the definition without giving any further explanation for the displacement. So we can't say it is a displacement because they didn't mention whether the points are the path is a shortest one or the straight one or with the direction. They didn't mention anything about the displacement, so we can go for the answer distance. Okay, no, so this is the difference between the distance and the displacement. So students, when you are studying the physics part, you have to understand the differences between the quantity, the physical quantities. So if you are studying about the distance, if you are studying about the displacement, you should know about the difference between the distance and the displacement, and weight and mass. Okay, the velocity and speed, the acceleration, deceleration, like this. You have to understand the difference between the quantities. Okay, so I think for these questions you should know about the difference between the distance and the displacement. So here they didn't mention anything about the key points about the displacement, so we can go for the answer distance. The fourth one, the answer is distance. Okay, the fifth one. If you take the fifth one, the organelle that cannot be observed by the light microscope. Okay, when you go to the unit number 6, unit number 6, here when you are observing a cell through the light microscope. See here, when you're observing a cell through a microscope, you can observe the cell membrane, you can observe the nucleus. See, appearance through the light microscope. You can observe the nucleus, you can observe the cell membrane, and also the cytoplasm is there. And also you can observe the cell wall for the plant. So that is a different, no, the difference between the animal cell and the plant cell, the cell wall is there. And the vacuole also you can observe through the light microscope. But you can't observe the mitochondrion. You can't observe the light microscope. Okay, no, you can observe the cell wall, you can observe the vacuole, you can observe the nucleus, but so the mitochondrion you can't observe. Okay, no, so this is the answer for the fifth one. Right, if we move to the sixth one, the highest mass when comparing with the atomic mass unit. The highest mass when comparing with the atomic mass unit. See here, the atomic mass unit, the highest mass, it means they are talking about the relative mass. We are talking about the relative mass. See, if we take the hydrogen atom, the relative mass is 1. If we take the nitrogen atom, the relative mass is 14. If we take the chlorine atom, the relative mass is 35. If you take the magnesium, the relative mass is 24. See, even though if you don't know about these kind of relative mass, you can go for the the hydrogen atom is 2, no? You can go for the atomic number. If you take the atomic number of hydrogen, that is 1. Nitrogen is 7, chlorine is 17, and magnesium is 12. Anyhow, you can easily find the answer for the atomic highest mass with the atomic mass unit. So definitely you will get the answer chlorine, because chlorine has the highest mass unit. So most of the time in the examination, they will give you the relative atomic mass. Definitely they will give you. But anyhow, you have to get a rough knowledge about the relative atomic mass. See here, for example, for some kind of atoms, you should know the RAM also. It means relative atomic mass also you should know. So even though you can't wait for the examiners to give that answers for you, you have to just learn. See, for example, if you take oxygen, that is 32, because oxygen, the atomic number is 16, and the relative atomic mass RAM is 32. If you take calcium, that is 40. Okay. If you take sodium, that is 23. So students, don't wait for the examiners or in the paper. Don't wait for the paper to get these answers. Just for calcium, sodium, calcium, oxygen, chlorine, and these kind of very famous atoms, you should know about the relative atomic mass also. Okay, no? So because when you are studying the different kind of molecules, for example, when you are studying the water molecule H2O, so the hydrogen is 1, and 1 into 2, and plus the oxygen is 16. The 18 is the relative molecular mass of hydrogen. Okay, no? So the hydrogen is the relative molecular mass of hydrogen is 18. So it means the RAM, the relative atomic mass of hydrogen is 1. The relative atomic mass of oxygen is 16. So these are the things you have to understand. So, and without getting the answers from the paper itself, you have to keep this one in your mind. For at least if you can't memorize all the 20 elements mass numbers, at least 5 or 10, at least 7 these important ones. No, you have to memorize these important ones. Okay, no. So I think the answer is chlorine. Okay, when you go back to the question paper, the seventh one, the vitamin that affects the anemia condition and the wounds and the mouth. So keep in your mind, when you go to the exam, when you go to the exam, please study uh, the condition, that the different the symptoms, the diseases. Okay, for the vitamins and minerals. So especially for the vitamins, definitely you have been asked for this kind of questions. Okay, so the question 7, the vitamin that affects the anemia condition and the wound at the mouth is what can you see? So when you check the question, the unit number 1, see here, when you check the vitamins, see here, see, when you check the vitamin A, night blindness, beetroot patches, dryness, and see here, anemia. Here, the key word in that question, the anemia is belongs to vitamin B. The anemia is belongs to the vitamin B. And also the another one, they are telling the second one, they are telling anemia and also wounds at mouth. So wounds at mouth, we don't have that kind of word here. Wait, no, we don't have the wounds at mouth here. No, yeah, we don't have that word, but we have the word anemia. So anemia is the conditions, the deficiency symptom conditions with the deficiency of vitamin B. So definitely the answer is vitamin B. See here, when you're having a mouth wound, so definitely the doctors, they will suggest you to give you the B complex, vitamin B complex tablet, that yellow color, that small tablets with a different kind of smell. That one you may have experienced that one, that wound in the mouth, the B complex. So definitely the answer is vitamin B. So the keyword is anemia to get the answer. That is a keyword here. Okay, so question number 8, which graph does not represent the zero displacement? Very simple question, no? Zero displacement in coming to the rest, the 0 point. So what is a 0 point here? The 0 point mean here, this is the 0 point. This is a 0 point. So all this graph is coming to the 0. This graph is coming to the 0. This graph also coming to the 0, the x-axis, no? But when you take the second graph, it doesn't come to the 0 point. It continues, no? Displacement is continuous. Anyhow, it is a rest position, but the displacement won't come to the 0 position. Okay, 0 displacement. So second one is the answer for the question number 8. Okay, when you take the question number 9, the electronic configuration of the element A is 2A2. Okay, 2A2, the most suitable for the iron. See here, when you're taking the 2A2, definitely they are talking about the magnesium, no? They are talking about the magnesium. So magnesium is equal to the number 12. So 2A2, that is the electronic configuration. So magnesium has two options. It has to lose these 2 electrons, or it has to gain these 6 electrons. Okay, here what is they are asking the ionic state. The ionic state mean magnesium will lose these 2 electrons to become neon, become like neon, you know, helium, neon, and argon. These are the noble gases. So most of the elements, they like to change their position, change their stabilities to these kind of noble gases. So if we say the helium is number 2, neon number 10, and argon is 18. So magnesium is 12, no? So definitely it will lose these 2 electrons and it will become like the neon, the position, the stability like neon. So definitely it will lose 2 electrons. So to do this question, you should understand the 2 things. The first one, 2A2 mean 2A2 mean definitely it will lose these electrons. So it will lose. That's the first thing you have to understand. The second one, when it loses these 2 electron, it will become Mg2 plus. When it loses these 2 electron, definitely the charge will become plus 2. Why? Because see here, magnesium atom and magnesium ion. Magnesium atom and magnesium ion. What is the difference? Magnesium atom means the protons equal 12. The electrons equal 12. So definitely the charge is 0. When you take the magnesium ion, the proton equal 12. You can't do nothing with the protons. Okay, you can't change anything with the proton. You can't change. Protons are very stable. That's why we are taking the atomic number on behalf of the protons, no? So protons are stable things. You can't do anything with the protons. But the electrons, definitely it will become 10. Why it is 10? Because we are losing these 2 electrons. We are removing the 2 electrons. So definitely we will get a E10. It means the electron 10. So the charges will get a positive 12 and the negative 10. So the resultant charge is the finalized charge is plus 2, because we are having a 2 protons more than the electrons. So definitely the charge will become plus 2. Okay, no? So the first thing you should understand, the magnesium will lose and it will become a plus 2. So when any atom loses electrons, it will become positive. When it gains electrons, it will become negative ion. So positive ion mean losing electrons, negative ion mean gaining electrons. So this is the most important thing you should understand. Okay, now next one, the 10th one. So I think the answer is A2 plus, no? A2 plus, the first one is the answer, A2 plus. Last one, the 10th one, select the incorrect statement regarding the domain bacteria. Yes, it's a huge unit. You have to study that one completely. Before that, I tell you, if you take the domain bacteria, when you go back to the second book, if you take the domain bacteria, see here, the organisms belongs to the domain bacteria are the prokaryotas. They are the prokaryotas. And they are sensitive to the antibodies. They are prokaryotas. They are sensitive to the antibodies. They are prokaryotas, sensitive to the antibodies. And most abundant groups, these are the keywords for bacteria. Most abundant group, and cyanobacteria and bacteria belongs to these groups. So what we need for the question, all are prokaryotas. Yes, correct. Widely spread on the is correct. Cannot be destroyed by no. Just now we have discussed that one. They are sensitive. They are sensitive to the antibodies. It means we can kill the bacteria by using antibodies. Yes, we can kill the bacteria. Okay, some bacteria are pathogens. Yes, they can cause diseases. Pathogens mean the microorganisms can cause diseases. Yes, that's correct. So this third one is a incorrect one. Why? Cannot be destroyed by antibiotics. Wrong one. The right one is it is sensible for the antibiotics. Okay, no? So these are the answers and explanations for the first 10 questions. So the next video will continue from 11 to 20. Okay, thank you very much, my dear students. See